So multiplying polynomials, day 2. So actually what we're going to be doing today is being able to multiply polynomials without using the algebra tiles. And hopefully these examples look familiar. These were your You Try from yesterday. And so, again, going back to the concept, we're not going to be using the algebra tiles, but in the same sense we are. So if you go back to that original warm-up, it was trying to think of what it was called. It was the introduction, and we were using the distributive property and area and dimensions to find the area of a rectangle. Well, we're going to do the same thing here. So I have this one big rectangle, and I need to find the area of it. And so if I take it and I chunk it up into 2 rectangles, I will be able to do that. So if I take and I make it into 2 different rectangles, well, notice that my dimensions here are x by x. So if I have dimensions of x by x, then that's going to get me an area of x squared. So what about this one? Well, this one has a height of x, and it's got a length of 5. So what is x times 5? 5x. So what is the area of this rectangle? The area is x squared plus 5x. So, looking at the second example. So you have a slide just before this one that's going to show you what this looks like with algebra tiles. So now let's create the same exact picture that you've created with the algebra tiles, but now create it without actually having to drag out all those tiles. So for this one, we have a binomial by a binomial that we're multiplying. And we want to know what is the area of this binomial by binomial. So because it's a 2 by 2, I'm actually going to set up my rectangle, and I'm going to make it into 4 parts. I'm going to drop down here, and I'm going to drop down here, and I'm going to find the area of each of these parts. So notice that this is x by x. So what is x by x? X squared. This one has a height of x and a length of 5. So 5x. Now this one has a height of a height of 2 and a length of x. So when I have a height of 2 and a length of x, I have an area of 2x. And so then now, what happens when I have a length of 5 and a height of 2? Then I have an area of 10. So if you look at your picture that you created, notice how you're going to have 1 x squared tiled, 5 x tiles, 2 x tiles, and 10 unit tiles. And so what I've done is I've created the exact same thing using what we call the box method to find the area of this rectangle, and without ever having to drag out the tiles. So now I can combine my like terms. And so the area of this rectangle is x squared plus 7x plus 10. So now we're going to do the exact same thing again, only this time we don't have the picture set up. We've got to create our own picture. So I need to find out the area of this rectangle having dimensions of x plus 2 by x plus 7. So I'm going to set up a box. And because it's 2 by 2, the size of my box also needs to be 2 by 2. And I'm going to put the x and the 2 here, and the x and the 7 here. And now I'm going to find the area of each of these boxes. So x times x is x squared. X times 7, 7x. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. Combine like terms. So I have an area of x squared plus 9x plus 14. I have just now multiplied a binomial by a binomial. So take a few minutes and see what you can do on the next page of notes for your You Try.